Hello everybody, SlimKirby here, and welcome back to more of the extras of the Super Paper Mario playthrough. This video is going to be probably a lot different than the first video was. The first video was just focusing on one key extra side feature of the game. This video is actually going to be focusing on a number of things. The reason why I'm doing everything in one video, honestly just made more sense because it's a bunch of little things that could be covered in small amounts of content to the point where if I made a video for each one of these, they'd be very, very short videos, and I don't know, just didn't really seem to fit well. Plus, when I was trying to do commentary for these, I didn't really like the way the commentary went because I had to do a lot of like switching back and forth and working on one thing, then working on something else, then coming back to work on this other thing. It just got really chaotic and not really in the way that I like, so I decided to kind of rethink this one video. And I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to basically split up this video into 4 sections. The first section will be focused on secrets, little things that can happen after you beat the game, or maybe even throughout the game. I don't really know when all of these things become available. And I'll also talk about a way where you can farm coins for the rest of the extras that we'll have to purchase. 2, I'm going to be focusing on the map system, where if you talk to Flam in Flopside, he will actually give you a bunch of maps where you can use to locate hidden treasures, most of which are catch cards, and you can find all of those catch cards, and basically I'll be covering that in the second section. The third section will be focused on recipes, or basically what's left of the recipes I have to make, because obviously I've been doing a lot of recipes and cooking throughout the entire playthrough, because it's always been available throughout the entire playthrough, so it really wasn't that hard to do. Necessarily, but I'm going to focus on the rest of the recipes I need. I'm going to get all those done, and that'll be the third section. I'll also talk about where you can basically find a master list of all the recipes, because that can also be very helpful if you want to do all of the cooking on your own. It does take a lot of work, though, believe me. I spent so many hours just doing the cooking. And the fourth section will be focused on the catch cards, which will actually be a very small section considering the huge amounts of catch cards you have to actually obtain. But there's really not much to say because there's really one surefire way to get the majority of the catch cards you need to get 100% in this game. And I'll also showcase a few catch cards that I was unable to find out in the wild during the playthrough. I think there's only like 3 catch cards I actually missed as far as ones that you could actually find without capturing an enemy or beating a side quest. So I'll also show what those are. I'll also talk about some other catch cards you can unlock through different requirements, stuff of that nature. And yeah, that's basically how this video will be divided up. It's going to be kind of a mess, but kind of an organized mess, at least. I want it to be organized, and that's kind of what I'm going for. So, let's go ahead and jump to the first section of the video, where we will be focusing on the secrets of the game. These are secrets you can basically find by just talking to random NPCs, or investigating certain areas, or even backtracking to certain areas. The first one we have is in Flopside. If you actually go to this house that's to the left of where Saffron lives. This is actually where we met a painter who was speaking in a very obvious French accent, I believe. I didn't really know what to do with him or if we could do anything with him, but if you actually come back to this guy with Princess Peach, he can actually do something for you. He can actually give you a haircut. Now, if you remember, the Peach 3 catch card, because Peach has 3 or 4 catch cards just of her image. It featured Peach with short hair, and this is actually how you get the short hair Peach in the game. Now, the problem with this is not permanent. You only get to keep this for like a screen or 2. Thankfully, it doesn't cost anything. And I kind of wish that it would be permanent, or at least you could like wear this for a while, and if you want to change it back, you could. But basically, whenever you switch allies, or whenever you get on an elevator, Peach's hairstyle will turn back to normal, so it really doesn't last very long at all. But I always thought this was a cool little unique feature of the game. I mean, it shows Peach in her, basically her shorter hair, which she started sporting for some of the future Mario spin-offs. The next thing I want to showcase is we're going to return to Castle Francis back in Chapter 3, Part 4. This is where we battled Francis for Tippy's safety, I guess, because Francis was so keen on turning Tippy into a insect catching prize, where he'd show all of his friends on the digibutter.ner forums or whatever. But basically, if you come back to Francis at the end of the game, after you beat the game, actually, you can actually find out that he made a replica of Tippy called Tiptron. Now, the cool thing about Tiptron is basically it's the replacement for Tippy. Once you beat the game, Tippy is nowhere to be found. But if you purchase Tiptron, you basically have Tippy back again. Tiptron acts exactly like Tippy in every way. I believe all of the entries for all the people are pretty much the same. I think the one entry that does change is for Francis, because Tiptron was actually made by Francis. So you see a little funny glitch there. I'll probably show that off later if I can actually obtain a Tiptron. But for right now, I'm not going to purchase Tiptron because 999 coins. I don't want to spend that much, especially if I don't know if I'm going to collect everything in the game yet. So I'm not going to buy this right now, but maybe later, maybe at the end of the playthrough, it'll be my last hurrah, maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I wanted to show this off because it is important. And it does relate to basically the post-game and after the gameplay is actually over. The last thing I want to talk about, this is not really so much of a secret as it is kind of a money-making scheme. As you know, there's a lot of extras that revolve around buying maps, getting catch cards, and stuff of that nature. You might need to buy some items for recipes as well, and you need a lot of coins to do that. Doing that stuff is not cheap. And the best way to actually get money in this game, at least from what I've found, there's numbers of different ways you could do this. You could just try farming coins off of enemies, getting rare items from enemies and turning them into recipes and selling them, selling recipes as you make them because they will give you a better profit. There's definitely a lot of other ways too, but there's a ton of ways you can make money in this game. But the way I've found most effective is at the Flopside card shop. You can actually buy catch cards, SPs, for 100 coins. And in Chapter 5-2 of Super Paper Mario, which is the second Cragnon chapter, you can actually find an Amazy Daisy in the wild. And if you basically use a catch card SP on an Amazy Daisy, you can catch it 100%. Like, it's a complete guarantee that you'll always get it. So, essentially, what you want to do is you want to buy at least 3 catch cards, go to this area, 5-2, spawn the Amazy Daisy, go 2 screens away, come back, find the Amazy Daisy again, catch card it again, do this 3 times so you have 3 Amazy Daisy catch cards, and then you go back to the card shop, sell your Amazy Daisy catch cards for 300 coins each. That's pretty much 900 coins right there. So essentially, you turn 3 catch card SPs, which are worth 300 coins, if the total cost of all of them, into 900 coins. So you essentially get a 600 coin profit from that little exchange. It is a little time consuming because you have to go all over the place, you have to purchase catch cards, and it may not be the most effective way, but it is definitely the fastest way. You could also just buy normal catch cards and try to use those if you're at a high level, but again, catch cards, they're likely to fail, so it's better to go with the 100% sure guarantee, at least in my opinion. But yeah, this is basically how you can actually earn coins through the playthrough, and so you can buy all of the extra stuff that you will need when actually completing everything in this game, because there is a lot to do. Like, we're just going to scratch the surface next with all the map system. But yeah, you need a lot of coins, and this is honestly the best way to get coins, at least in my opinion, so I felt like sharing that with you guys. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the second section, which is going to be the maps that I was just talking about. Okay, so now we're moving on to the second section, which is the map section of this video. Basically, in the first basement floor of Flopside, you can find Flam. Flam is a map salesman who will sell you a bunch of maps. Each map is available for a different amount of coins. And when you purchase the map, you're given a brief description of where a treasure is hiding, and a picture of what screen you need to be on when you actually want to find that treasure. So basically, once you buy the map, you want to go to that specific place on the map, you want to use Fleep on that exact spot, and you can find a treasure. Treasures will range from just normal healing items, to rare items and expensive items, to catch cards. So the reason why I'm doing this is if you want to get all the catch cards, obviously you want to do this map quest because it will allow you to find many of the catch cards that you need without having to buy them from the card shop. So this is probably the more cost-effective way of actually getting these cards. I would say this is the only way where you could get these, but that's actually not true, as I found out later. But I'll talk about that when we get to the card section. But yeah, for this playthrough, I'm only going to show you where you can find all of the catch card map locations, and I'll also show off the gold leaf location as well, because I've been talking about that particular map for a long time. I've been avoiding the gold leaf item from Flim, because I knew I'd get one from Flam, so that's like the one other item I'll show. The reason being is I feel like it all kind of comes down to what your definition of 100% is. Because since you only get like random items you can get anywhere else from some of the maps, I don't really count those as being part of 100%, but other people could classify you finding all the map locations as getting 100%. It's kind of a gray area, not really one I feel like exploring too deeply. So I'm just going to show all the catch card locations. If you want to see where you can find all the other locations, I'm going to include a link in the video description to Mario Wiki, which has been a huge help through this entire playthrough. Not just for this map system, but also for the recipes, for the catch cards, and just other things that I've learned about the game through that website. So it's been a tremendous resource through this entire Let's Play, and I'll probably be referencing that a lot in this video. So yeah, I don't really have much else to say about the maps. Obviously, you'll need to get a lot of coins to purchase all the maps, but I gave you the Amazy Daisy card sell strategy that I talked about just a few minutes ago, so you can use that to grind coins. There's obviously other ways you can grind coins too. It's honestly up to you. Do whatever feels comfortable. Do whatever you want to do. It's really up to you guys. But yeah, I'm going to stop talking and then let the rest of these card locations play out. And then I'll see you guys for Section 3, which will be the recipes. I should also probably mention that not all the maps are available right away. In order to get other maps to appear, you have to buy some other maps first. So a good rule of thumb is just buy as many maps as possible, and at some point all of the maps should be available. Especially if you plan to go for all of them, you have to buy them all anyway. And I also found that you don't necessarily have to go for just like random item ones either. You can honestly just go for all the catch card ones first, and then once you get all those, then you can probably finish up with all the random item ones. So yeah, again, up to your discretion. Okay, next up on our agenda, we have the cooking section, Section 3. Now, as you guys know, I got really obsessed with the cooking in this game. I kept doing it after every chapter. I do way more than I even intended, and because of how much I did, there's not really a lot I'm going to have to show in this section. But this is an overview. You can do cooking at Saffron and Delicious places in Flipside and Flopside, respectively. For Saffron, you need 1 recipe item. For Delish, you need 2. You can find all the recipes in the game by collecting the cooking discs, which I did show the location of all of those. I did obtain all of those, so that's actually a really good guide to have without having an outside source like Mario Wiki and whatnot. But admittedly, I still used Mario Wiki. It was also very helpful, not just in like telling me like what items made what, but also in just telling me what the items did once they were created. So a very, very helpful resource. Definitely recommended for this. But I'm going to go ahead and just go over all the recipes that I still have to make, and I can finish up the recipe section of this playthrough. And as usual, I will have a link in the video description that will have just a link to all the recipes in the game. So here we go. One last cooking section. Okay, so we actually only have 10 recipes left in this playthrough, and we're going to nail them all right here, right now. The first one we're going to do is we're going to be combining a couple's cake with a ghost shroom. This will give us a bad item, as ghost shroom and poison shroom items usually do. And it's going to give us an item called the Trial Stew, which is a very interesting item that takes away all of your HP except for one. And you basically get, I think, like 100 points per HP you actually lose. So it's a very good leveling up tool. Next up, we're going to take a Shroom Shake and we're going to combine it with a Daisy Tear. And we'll get a Shroom Delicacy. It fills 10 HP and cures poison. Next up, we're going to take a Power Steak and we're going to combine it with a Fresh Veggie. This will give us a hot dog, which you can actually buy in the over there. You don't have to make this recipe, because once you get the item, it'll count as getting the recipe. But it's actually cheaper to make the item, believe it or not, since hot dogs cost over 100 coins. But yeah, that's that recipe. Next up, we're going to combine, once my game starts moving here anyway, going to combine a Fresh Veggie, and we're going to combine it with a Cake Mix. This will give us an awesome snack, two words that should not ever belong together. And next, we're going to take a Shroom Shake and a Big Egg. This will give us a Shroom Pudding, heals 25 HP and cures poison. Next up, we're going to be taking a Peachy Peach, and we're going to combine it with, I believe, a Shroom Shake. Because, yeah, we've already done the Cake Mix recipe. And this will give us a Fruity Shroom. So, those are 6 of the remaining 10 recipes we have left. For these next 4, I'm actually going to have to do quite a bit of grinding, or at least the next 3, since by this point I don't have the golden leaf yet, so I can't make the last recipe we're going to be doing. But for this first bit of grinding, I'm actually going to be buying a lot of mystery boxes. Because, like I just described in the playthrough, there is an item with saffron that you can make. But the problem is that this is the one recipe in the game that has a chance of not working. I believe the percentage is like 8% is like how often the recipe will actually work. So all those other times you'll either get a mistake or you'll get a different recipe altogether, which means 92% of the time you will not be getting this item. Thankfully, I got very lucky in this. I believe it was like during my first set of items I bought where I actually got it. So I got it really, really early, and I was very thankful for that. But yeah, like this is honestly the best way to do it. Mystery boxes are only 3 coins in the Land of Cragnons, so you might as well just go there, buy as many as possible. Go to Saffron, cook all of your recipes. If you don't get it, sell your recipes so you can make a profit in terms of your coins. And then go back, buy more mystery boxes, and try again. You could also just like buy 10 mystery boxes, save your game, cook them all. If it doesn't happen, reload your save. But there are point rewards you can get from the shop. So honestly, it doesn't hurt to you know, keep buying these mystery boxes, selling them, and then buying them again, because chances are you'll get some other cooking items that you may need for the future, or catch cards you may need for the future. But anyway, I did go ahead and cut straight to when the mystery box actually works. I got really thrilled that I got this so early, but you get a Miracle Dinner. So, heals 1 HP, cures poison, but it has some other effect. I can't think of what the effect is off the top of my head, but it's a very interesting effect, honestly. I think it's just like a random item, much like a mystery box is. So the next item we're going to be grinding for is the Bone-In Cut. which is an item you can find from these muff enemies. It's a random drop. It takes forever to find, but once you do, like, you're good to go, pretty much. And from cooking that item with saffron, you get a spit roast. It doubles attack for a short time, so it's a decent item. It's decent. I wouldn't say I'm really that thrilled with it, but it's something you can work with. The next item we're going to grind for is a sap syrup, which you can find from Floro Sapiens in 5.3 and 5.4. If you combine a sap syrup with a cake mix, you will get a sap muffin. It's an odd-tasting muffin. It cures 20 HP and cures poison, so pretty decent healing item. Not the best, but it's there if you want to use it. And finally, using the golden leaf that I got from the map system, if you combine that with a mild cocoa bean, you can get the last recipe in the game I'm getting, which is... And yes, I'm going to let this animation play out because this is the last time we're seeing it. We're going to get a golden choco bar. And ladies and gentlemen, that is all the cooking in Super Paper Mario. I gotta admit, I wasn't sure what to make of the cooking in this game when I started. Never have I really done it before, but I had a lot of fun doing this. Like, this is honestly the best cooking aspect in any of the Paper Mario games. And I think it's the best just because it's actually, it actually has a built-in guide in the game where you can actually figure everything out. And it's honestly really cool trying to figure out, like, all the enemy drops and stuff like that. I don't know, I just had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, as I said earlier, you can find a link to Mario Wiki in the video description. It'll have all the recipes there if you want to look over, if you need to refresh on some of them. And it can also tell you what all the items do as well, since while most of them heal HP and cure poison, most of them have secondary effects. Usually in relation to one of the items they came from. But there's a lot of items, a lot of different kooky effects as well, so it's definitely worth a look at. But with that, we're going to move on to the final section of this video, the catch cards. Okay, so the final thing we're going to be discussing in this video are the catch cards, the most tedious extra in Super Paper Mario. Why is this the most tedious extra? There are over 250 catch cards. I want to say 256 to be exact. There's a lot of them. You have to do a lot of grinding to get them, not just in terms of coin grinding, but also even catch card grinding as well. So you're going to have your work cut out for you if you want to collect them all. But thankfully there are some easier ways to get catch cards that I was unfamiliar with when I first started this playthrough. So actually getting all the catch cards will be a lot easier than I initially let on. It'll still take a lot of work, of course, but it's definitely more manageable than I thought it was. But anyway, before I get started with my general strategy for getting all the catch cards, I need to talk about a few instances where you can't necessarily get certain catch cards in certain ways and stuff like that. First off, we have cards that you can only buy from the card shops. These are cards that you can only buy at the card shops because they cannot be captured through catch cards. At some point in the game, the enemies are unavailable to you, or they're just not enemies at all, so you can't exactly get them. These catch cards are Meow Maid, Secure Meow, Racktail, Samurai, Big Samurai, Small Samurai, and Toad. You can get these catch cards at the catch card shop. Toad's obviously not an enemy, so they needed a way for you to get his catch card. The Samurais, obviously at some point, the Samur Kingdom is unavailable to you. For Racktail, once you defeat Racktail, you can no longer fight him again. And this also goes for the little robot guys, Frackle and Rackle, which appear on Fracktail and Racktail's backs when you're fighting it. Because once you defeat those boss fights, you cannot access those enemies again. So you'll probably have to get their catch cards through the catch card shop as well. And then the Meow Maid and Secure Meow, they are the cat robots in Fort Francis. And I don't think they can be killed in any way, shape, or form. So you have to get the catch cards in that way. But yeah, those are basically the ones you can only get at the catch card shop. The next cards I want to talk about are the Thwomp card, the Spiny Tromp card, and the Spiky Tromp card, as well as the Gnaw card as well. These are cards that you can get from Flim in Flipside. Now, here's the thing. You can actually get these cards from the card shop as well. But these are cards that Flim will always have, and honestly, you'll probably have a better chance of finding them at Flim in Flipside before you actually find them in the card shop, because Flim in Flipside actually has a limited inventory. So after you buy all of his items, he won't have any more items. And since he has those cards, theoretically you could find the cards faster there as opposed to finding them at the card shop. And as far as these enemies are concerned, they're pretty much unkillable, so that's why you probably will have to buy them, since I don't think they'll actually work as the actual catch cards and catch cards SPs. I think, anyway. I mean, don't quote me on that. I really have no idea, honestly. The next card I want to talk about is the Amazy Daisy card, which is the only card that you could get from the Flipside arcade. I talked about this in the last arcade video, but there is technically an easier way to get Amazy Daisy, but if you love the arcade, chances are you could probably get the Amazy Daisy card from here. So yeah, that's the one card I want to talk about here. I believe you can also get it in the card shop as well, but it'll be very, very expensive. The next two cards I want to talk about are the Mega Koopa and Wacka cards. These are cards that you can get as rewards from getting shop points. If you get 100 shop points, you'll get the Mega Koopa card, which is the Koopa Troopa that got the Starman in 3-1. So basically a giant 8-bit Koopa. And if you get 100 points in the shop, you will get that card as a reward. Now, the next card we have is Wacka. Wacka, you need to get 300 shop points to actually get it. And that's a lot of things to buy. Chances are you'll probably get really close with buying all the mystery boxes if you want to do all the recipes and you want to get the Miracle Dinner. But chances are you're probably going to have better luck finding Wacka at the card shop. Yes, you can get both Mega Koopa and Wacka at the card shop. They're both really, really expensive, though. Wacka is actually 500 coins at the card shop. But honestly, it's probably going to be the faster way of doing things, so you may just want to grind some coins just on the off chance that you'll find Wacka in the card shop. That's probably just the best thing for you to do. And yeah, again, you can't get these enemies anywhere else. You can't actually get them on the field of battle using catch cards or anything. So that's the only way you can get these guys. So yeah, those are the shop points cards. And the final three cards I want to talk about are the cards that I actually missed in the playthrough. I missed these cards really only because finding them is kind of counterintuitive to what you would normally do in this game. I actually have to fall down random pits in Flipside and Flopside. I didn't actually stumble across those pits, so I was unable to get those cards. But as you can see, I'm showing you how to get those cards right now, so that pretty much covers that. I'm surprised that I got everything else, though. I covered my ground pretty well. I didn't miss any catch cards that were actually in the normal chapters of the game. So that was nice. That was definitely nice that I was able to get those. And yeah, I think you could probably get these from the card shop, but I mean, they're free if you actually find them, so you might as well get them for free, honestly. So, yeah, that's basically how you get these three cards. But yeah, these three cards are the Merlon card, the Merlovely card, and the Berry card. And then, obviously, you have the map cards, all of the catch cards that you can get from the map side quest in this game. I already showed that off earlier in this video, so if you want to look at all those cards, just refer to that section of the video, and then you can take a look at all of those. But yeah, I think you can probably get these catch cards from the card shop as well. But once again, they're probably going to be more expensive if you do it that way. Probably better if you just try to find them on the map and on the field as opposed to actually buying them all from here, because chances are they're probably going to be less expensive if you get the map, because cards are very, very expensive. So now that we've talked about all of those special cases, for the most part, the only way you'll be able to get catch cards is either by capturing them or by buying them from the card shop. Honestly, buying them from the card shop is the best way. Most of them are only about like 20 coins. Some can even be like 15 or something. There will be a fair share of them that are pretty expensive, though. Particularly rare enemies that you don't see very much in the main game. Those will generally be about 50 or maybe even 100 coins. But still, like I mentioned earlier, there's a very, very good Amazy Daisy strat where, again, you can just use catch card SPs on Amazy Daisies, sell 3 of them for 900 coins, go to the card shop, buy all the cards you don't have, leave, come back, buy more cards you don't have, and just repeat the process until you essentially have them all. Just remember that there are other cards in the game that you may have to get still, like from other side quests, and other cards that you can get in potentially different ways, whether it's the maps or those other special cases I mentioned earlier. But the quickest thing you want to do is go to the catch card shop in Flopside, check the listing of what cards are available. Once you get them all, leave the shop, go to the Hall of Mirrors, which is very, very close to where the shop is. Enter the Hall of Mirrors, exit, go back to the card shop, and the inventory will be changed. That's probably the quickest way you can go through the entire shop and find all the catch cards. It is random in terms of what stock you'll have available, but if you get them into a nice pattern, you'll get it so every time you enter the catch card shop, if there is a new card, there'll probably be another card you need alongside it. For some reason, I feel like the game is very lenient in terms of offering what you still need. But again, that might have just been my good luck I was having at the time. So yeah, that's pretty much what you gotta do to get all the catch cards in the game. I really recommend this, opposed to actually going out and catching them all. Because catch cards, yes, they do work a lot better if you're at a higher level. But for the most part, if they can still fail, it doesn't really seem that worth it to me. And as far as catch card SPs are concerned, yes, they always work, but you're also paying 100 coins to get a catch card SP. So it's very, very expensive. I'd only buy catch card SPs to get Amazy Daisies to sell them for more coins, to buy more cards. That's honestly my favorite strategy. It worked very well in getting as many cards that I did. In fact, before I actually start the next video, which is going to be the Sammer Kingdom, I have like over 200 cards. And I believe when I started the extras, I only had like 99 or something. Or maybe that was after I did all the maps too. I don't really even know for sure. Again, I've been working on these extras for a really, really long time. And it's taken a lot of work, and I've done a lot of stuff in this playthrough. But I've made it possible to potentially get everything in this game. Now, will I though? We'll just have to wait till the very end of the playthrough. But it definitely is a lot easier to do than I thought. So that's probably going to be it for this video, honestly. I don't really have much else to say, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Those are the main, like, grinding extras of Super Paper Mario, I'd say. Basically all the things where there's a lot of stuff you can do, and if you get a checklist or something, you can kind of check things off as you go. Whether it's the maps, whether it's the recipes, whether it's the catch cards. So yeah, that's essentially what you got going on here. But with that, I'm going to move on to the final 2 endurance tests of this playthrough. First up, we're going to do the Sammer Kingdom, get that out of the way, and then after that, we're going straight to the Flopside Pit of 100 Trials. So I hope you guys are ready. We have some big, big challenges coming up for sure, so I hope to see you guys there. And yeah, that's going to do it for this extra video. So this has been SlimKirby. I will see you guys next time. Later, folks.